Okay, we live right now. That's it. I need to write that down. Where's my pen? We live. We live. We live right now. I know I could go back and listen to my old ones and see the rhythm and how I say it and all that good stuff, but uh, I guess it's easier to do it when I'm know that I'm gonna do these podcasts like Thursday and Friday, Thursday and Sunday, like today. Today's Thursday, March 14th, 2024, and I'm up early. It's 5:55. Kids are sleeping. Wife is helping out at the in-laws and everything. Okay, yeah, I was just looking at the mic. Looks pretty good. Looks It looks good bare, but it's all good. Let's put it back on pop filter. How do I sound? I think I sound okay. So, what are we going to talk about today? It's interesting though. I have a topic from time to time, and as you know, a lot more times than not, I don't have a topic and I just ramble. And like I said before, it's very therapeutic. It's something that I look forward to. It's fun, and from somebody who listens to a lot of podcasts, I don't know if you do or not. It is something that's interesting being on the other side to see what you do all the time. I know it's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, but something about the rewarding part of podcasting is pretty cool, especially when you don't have to show your face. um, it's I wouldn't say it's easy because yes, it's good to have something to talk about. But the thing about it is that I think with podcasting, at least right now, hopefully it stays like this for a long time, is that the 80% of it is the actual doing, you know, like talking, like coming up with something, expressing yourself, interviewing people, your interesting take on things, right? And I think that's what you're doing most of the time, like the editing, which, as you can tell, I don't do much editing. I leave all the stuff in there from time to time and all that good stuff. Probably I should be better about that, but I'm using more so the Bill Burr approach. He just goes on there and talks. He has things he wants to talk about or don't. He rambles and it's very relaxing. It's pretty cool. I really do like it a lot. And sometimes when you don't have that much of an agenda, it does help you to kind of express yourself, whatnot, right? So, like I said, I've been doing a lot of podcasts lately, and it's been going pretty good. I've been liking the topics. Some of the topics I want to get to later on, but like I said before, it's one of those things to where I know I will get to a place to where certain things will start to repeat itself. I will learn new things. I have different approaches to things, and that'll be interesting to talk about when that time comes, right? So I shouldn't be so sacred and so guarded with some of the topics I do want to talk about, and people want to hear, right? I guess we'll see. What's up, doggy? You good? I'll get you some more food, okay? All right, all right. Stop by your butt. You still. Oh, God. Stop doing that. Okay, so it seems like YouTube is doing something. I don't know what it's doing. I am going to work on a YouTube video. Shouldn't be that long. I did do some thumbnail ideas and concepts. And I did listen to a couple YouTube videos about different types and styles of thumbnails. And I listened to something else saying that it's probably best to go ahead and have 3 thumbnail ideas. And when he said that, I was like, no, could barely think of one. But I think, ironically speaking, what it's doing is allowing me to get back into my photography again. Because, taking 1 picture is hard enough, but taking 3 of the same type of concept, that's kind of different. That's kind of pushing myself, but it's allowing me to see the things that I want to work on and go from there. So that's what I did yesterday. I kind of got an idea of a topic title, and then I got to set up the video for a scripted, non-scripted video that shouldn't be more than 4 or 5 minutes, and then worry about editing it on Saturday. We'll go from there. But I do have my latest one that I did about something about the state of coffee, whatnot. And I did have some people come on there commenting and stuff. So we shall see. So we will go from there, answer more comments, and then we shall go from there, right? I think. But today, that brings me around to the topic of the day, which is extremely helpful. And it's about samples, coffee samples, giving things out, and why we do it. What's the point of it? And do I think it will make me successful? I always thought that giving out samples was some bullshit. And the reason why is because it's coffee, right? And coffee is one of those things that I don't think it needs a sample. It's coffee. It's one of those things where people know what coffee tastes like. So that always threw me off, put me off, pissed me off. But if you really think about it, it's your coffee. It's your sample. It's what you're presenting to people. That's how I kind of come around to it. It's the same thing with like YouTube videos, for instance. When people in the past asked me about certain videos, I would tell them, just go to YouTube, look it up, search it up, do your thing, right? But I didn't make those videos. So they weren't really getting like the nitty-gritty tips of what I think about that particular method, my approach to coffee brewing and whatnot, and so on, right? I think that's the thing about it. It's yours. As selfishly as that sounds, it's yours, and that's a good thing to be in, right? It's your unique approach, even though it may be similar to somebody else's, but it's yours. And you're trying to give people a reason to do something different than what they're doing. And that when that comes in that case, it's about giving them something that they may be interested in doing. But with samples, that costs a lot of money. But how are you really going to put yourself out there if you're not willing to give somebody something of a little bit, right? I know that's what I did with the urologist with the sample. Not so much to be like, I want you to be a new customer and all that stuff. but you never know where the samples may go, right? And that's the interesting thing about it. And you can kind of pinpoint, figure out what will come about those samples. But, at the end of the day, it's one of those things to where you're just trying things out. It's a form of marketing. It's a form of putting yourself out there. And it's a way that you can be able to get back to people in a way to where they will understand your brand a little bit. They will understand where you come from. So that's where I'm at with this. And that's pretty cool with kind of coming more so full circle with samples. So that's what I'm going to actually do in my next YouTube video. I'm done with the Kenyan. I will explain that to them, which I'm sure they probably figured it out. And I want to give it away. I'll probably keep a couple of pounds of it, but I want to give it away. I want to give it away to other people. Let them think about it or taste it or experience it for themselves. See if they pick up on the same things that I have picked up on. That'll be interesting, right? I think that'll be something of a substance of something that is useful to everybody, right? I think so. So I'm going to give that away. And that's online, right? So that's going to cost me some money, right? But it's okay. Give out a sample bag, 4 ounces, total about 4.5, 5 ounces. Ship it to them. It should be relatively cheap actually. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but I'm the one who's paying for it, right? I am going to use that more so as a way to get emails so I can start my newsletter stuff. And we'll go from there, right? But I'm going to continue to give out samples online, in person. I actually have a approach or process that I'm going to go about giving samples, especially locally. That's one of the reasons why I went ahead and bought and branded my 4 ounce sample bags. That bag right there will probably make me a lot of money in the future. Just because it gives people the opportunity to taste what I'm talking about, taste what I'm cooking, right? Taste what I believe in. And I think that's where I'm at with this stuff with coffee, is that it's time to give people more than what they expect of you. And I think that's what it comes down to. And I think that's the thing that I was trying to explain to my brother yesterday. It's more, I explain it in a way to where, yes, it is a digital cafe that I'm trying to create. I want to be a place to where people want to taste coffee in a way to where it does make sense, right? So I have to be able to give people something that they truly really care about and that they may see it a different way. And the good thing about this is that I am essentially literally the guinea pig. So if this helps other roasters, other businesses alike or not alike, then that's awesome. And this is not an original idea to me. I think in this case, it's an original idea in the coffee world because I don't see too many businesses, coffee businesses, flat out saying that they're giving out samples for what other reason, right? So that's where I'm at with this. I'm big into fitness. There's many fitness people that do samples all the time. And other things that I listen to all the time online. it's really cool to get to a place to where now you're trying to put your own spin on things and figure that out, you know? So sampling, giving it away, seeing how people react to it. And it's also another form of where people will give me feedback, right? I think it's an easy way for people to give me some type of real feedback to the point where I can take that feedback, I can take it with a grain of salt, or I can change something in my situation to where it does make sense for me, right? I think that's where I'm at with a lot of this stuff is just really figuring out what does make sense, what I need to do, and how I can change things on the fly. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I have thought about a couple of things that I can do of really trying to tie my website in to YouTube, to Amazon, and kind of keep that three head balance of seeing how that works, right? I think that's where we're at with a lot of this stuff. And we shall see how that works out with coffee. Giving away sample coffees. Like I said in the beginning, it's we'll see how it goes. I'll change it up where I need to, and then we shall see how it will make sense to the target market and all that good stuff. Right? That's the way I look at it. So yeah, so samples, coffee samples, giving it away, seeing how that works, different approaches. I will, of course, share with you as much as it makes sense of my approach locally and how I plan to expand that online and go from there. Have a good time with this and all that good stuff, right? So, yesterday, what ended up happening with coffee is I didn't have that a lot. I didn't have a lot of coffee left. And I barely had enough to make a cup of coffee for myself and my wife. So, what ended up happening yesterday too was I made some more coffee. I made some decaf so I can do some more Irish coffee later today. I think today I will play around with just regular coffee creamer. Don't add any sugar to it. I will do the booze and the salt, but I will make it with creamer. So that should be interesting later on today. And then I made the Mexican coffee, which I will have in the next 30, 45 minutes, something like that. And I made my new coffee. It's from Crown Royal Coffee. Same people I got the Kenyan from. And we shall see how that one tastes. I'm part of a club for some reason with Royal Coffee because I buy a decent amount from them all the time, I guess. That they put me on this new list. I'm sure there's another list who buys their stuff all the time. But I buy a couple of bags from them throughout the year. And so I'm on that list, and the newest coffee that I did get is a Colombian. And I'm curious because, of course, they had more expensive ones on there, two geishas, blue or black geishas and whatnot. I think they had two that are reasonably priced, and some of their cupping notes. Cupping notes. Here we go again. were interesting enough to where I was like, I wonder how that really tastes. And it's as fresh as a crop as it can be, right? And I am curious to see how it is, right? Oh, wow. I'm curious to see how that coffee is. And I bought that in the February, and I just roasted it just now. It's a Colombian Huila. I need to learn how to pronounce things better. Palo de Rosa, double fermented and washed pink bourbon. Yeah. From here, it's about $8.06, 60 cents per pound. I got a $22 discount. So it brings it to about $7.06, 60 cents a pound. That's as high as I would really go. I spend a little bit more from time to time from them. I spend about 150, 180, 190, you know, and that one's gone. That one's absolutely gone. That one is gone. That's interesting. Um, yeah, so I know I'm talking and looking at things. I hate doing that. I hate when people do that, but I just did that just now. So yeah, so it's a double fermented and washed pink bourbon. I'm curious. I don't want to overhype it. I don't know if it's just the way I packaged it or put it together on my sample roaster, whatnot. But I didn't get much of a smell. And of course, I put it in a bag, whatnot, and we shall see. I'm gonna let it sit, relax, do its thing for about a week or two. I think 2 weeks should be good. I roasted it Wednesday, March 13th, so I should have it in close to the end of the month. And I'm scared actually. I'm scared to taste it. I'm scared to see what happens. I know I roasted it more so like a medium, but we should see. We should see how it really tastes, right? Of course, I'm going to roast it different ways, and probably eventually I'll give that one out too. But we shall see. We shall see how it tastes, and I don't know. It's one of those things to where you have to drop your expectations down because again, this place doesn't play around with coffee. They they source some really good stuff, and they have to do their own marketing and tasting and cupping and all that crap, right? But it gets to the point to where once you're done talking about it and release it, you're done, right? It's actually up to the people to see what they actually taste. So that part is going to be interesting in itself to kind of figure out what does make sense, what does make sense, what doesn't make sense, or if it's me, right? So that's where we're going to see how all this makes sense in the next couple of weeks and the approach that I take to coffee, presenting it itself, and just enjoying it for what it is, you know? Just enjoying that if it's a one note pleasure, let it be what it is, right? So we shall see. Again, like I said, I'm a little frightened, scared, apprehensive. I don't want to put my hopes high. But it is what it is. If it tastes the way it tastes, it tastes the way it tastes. I will let you know how it tastes from my mouth. And we should go from there. So that's all I got for now. I may be back on here tomorrow, next day, because I'm a podcasting guy, not just a listener of podcasts, but also a producer, creator, as they say. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.